Hey, howdy. You know, the more I think about it, it has been a long, long, long time since I've actually done something related to Katamari, and oh boy, have I got a fun one for you today. But first, it requires a little bit of a setup, so let me look something up real fast. I hop on over into the Tuki scene. There we go. So, this is a platform that you really don't hear much about anymore. The Java Platform Micro Edition, or the J2ME. This is a platform that was normally associated with what were called feature phones. Feature phones are basically another term that's been tossed around to describe them are brick phones or dumb phones. It's like old gen Nokia phones are the best parallel, where they had the capacity to run very primitive Java-based applications, and people who knew how to make Java games could jump ship pretty seamlessly and start to develop apps for them. They weren't very good apps, but they do exist. Now, there's two main sets of games, and maybe I'm planning on maybe finding more depending on if people like this, if I end up liking this. The main thing that I was able to find was a game that I've been on the hunt for a long time, and I assumed I was never going to be able to find it. Let's make sure that this is capturing properly. Looks like it is. Music on, of course. I have the audio chunked lower than usual because this this software has a habit of peaking speakers. Yep, like that. I'm turning it down a lot on my end. I have it like cut in a third of what it normally is. This is Rolling with Katamari. This is one of the only Katamari games that I have not yet played. I swear to you, I will play all of them on the channel at this point. That is a promise. But I've been screwing around with it a bit. Let's just learning to roll. Ah, Little Prince, you look smaller and more mobile than usual today. We thought today would be a good day for rolling the Katamari. When the first rolls, the second follows. Rolling, rolling, rolling. For that purpose alone, the king of all cosmos went to the bother of making this space. Just for that, went to the bother. Just for you, my pocket-sized princely son. So, we would now like the prince to start the rolling. But, first things first, does the prince like vibration? Meaning the moving and the shaking. No, I hate it. Plain is best. I love going au naturel, whatever you say, king. If that's what you say, what you declare, then you can turn on vibration, on and off, with the, I think that's this button. That's music off, it's the other one. There you are. This feels like a Pico 8 game, and I don't mean that in a good way. It's unbelievably crusty. That was a very nice rolling. Now it is time to turn. Once rolling, yeah. This game does not feel good to play in the slightest. See how the Katamari moves when where the prince desires? Stopping in reverse for yeah. For more wisdom from the most brilliant king, select more learning. The king will soon bore of watching the prince roll around in here. So make sure, yeah. Roll the phone. That's funny. So what even is there? Hello again, extra small but wonderfully mobile prince. The king of all cosmos needs you to do more rolling. Today is all about the 1, 2, 3 special moves. Special move number 1 is the sideways rolling shuffle. Shuffles from side to side with the 1 and 3 buttons. Okay, how's this gonna work? Okay, let's see. 1 and 3, numlock. Teensy weensy useless prince. Hang on. Let me just quit out. I don't need the other moves, and it doesn't look like it kind of seems like the numpad is not gonna work. Whatever, we'll roll with it. Oh my god. Ah, so small. The prince is looking positively microscopic today. The king can hardly see him, he's so incredibly teeny-weeny. We didn't notice, not one jot, not with the stars and all. You seem to be inside the mobile phone, deep amongst the microchips. The king of all cosmos does love the chips? What were we saying? Oh, we got it. Roll the Katamari to build your body, too. Exercise and get bigger, prince. It is your first time on Earth, so the king will be quite generous with time. You have 1 minute 30 seconds of Earth time to roll the Katamari to a diameter of 5 centimeters, which would be plenty of time, even for you, slow prince. Oh, by the way, if the king rolls the Katamari into objects that are very big, yeah. Oh god, this does not feel good to control. I swear to god I've seen a, I said this feels like a Pico game. I think there was a game in particular that I was thinking of that looks really, really similar to this, and again, not in a good way. It was from one of like the Christmas advent calendar things. God, there's just no sound whatsoever. This is wild. I can only imagine that we'll eventually get to be larger and actually get to romp around a town. Here's hoping, right? This is just, like, this is less Katamari and more Tasty Planet, now that I think about it, which, banger set of games. Tasty Planet and Tasty Planet Back for Seconds are both excellent. They're excellent games, and they made other games after that point, and I do not want to talk about them. They were not exactly quality. What did I just do? Okay, I don't know what I just pressed, but I'm rolling the Katamari backwards. The music. The time we gave you is over. That time is in the past now. Oh my god, the Royal Rainbow actually happens. How are you, Prince? How is Earth, huh? Oh. The Katamari is 6 centimeters. Wow, that's great. We completely forgot about that. Now you know how to do it. You are now big enough to venture outside of the phone. Oh my god, the sound effects. Hello. I can't really express how much I love this shitty MIDI cover of Katamari on the Rocks. I swear to god the PopCap games are better than this, but this is quite dire. Excuse me, little guy. I'm just passing through. There's really not a lot to say here, frankly. It's just... it sure is a game. I suppose the best thing to talk about is the fact that this exists, and also what Katamari games I even have left. There are a couple of mobile ones that I've still yet to find, and if I find them, I will play them, but it's a big if. Because a lot of them are, mobile games. Mobile game derogatory. So a lot of them kind of just don't work and require they require 100% online connectivity, and that kind of, you know, makes it nearly impossible to actually play nowadays. I will try my best, but I'm not making any promises. His music is a little mind-numbing, I have to say. I'm tempted to, after a certain point, I might just turn the music off and, like, play part of the soundtrack of Katamari forever or something, because I might be playing this for a while. I mean, I was hoping for better music. I was hoping for more than one music track, but as you'll see with some of the PopCap stuff, if you decide to stick around for those, the main weakness that I've noticed with this system, ironically enough for a phone, the main weakness is the audio. I don't know why, but everything is on one track from the looks of it. All of the audio, all of the music. Any audio output has to be bound to the exact same audio track, which makes things a little rough. It reminds me a lot of the Game Boy in that regard, of having to juggle audio and music, because they would both end up being on the same track. And then whenever you play super complex, or even like slightly complex audio stuff. I just got stun locked by Don't Cry because it spilled milk. Whenever you play any sort of at least slightly complex sound, it cuts out the music because there's just not enough processing power to do both at the same time. And it just stops. It just cuts. Oh my god, wait, they actually do these. This really is just a bad port of Katamari Damacy, huh? Oh! There are more levels than there were already. Grape Star and Blue Star are both new, because originally it was Make a Star 2, and then it broke off into Cancer as well. What is Cancer even going to be? Is it actually going to be pick up crabs? No. It's the same music, and also crabs. Awesome. It looks delicious. No, no, no. Be patient. Get a grip, King. Go for it, King. To make Cancer more delicious than anything, roll and collect so many crabs. Let me see. I unironically might be able to make something better in as a Binding of Isaac mod, because this is very primitive. Though, I mean, they were working with what they had. I'm surprised they managed to even make a Katamari game for this platform. Something tells me this console would not have handled 3D rendering particularly well. I mean, can you even call this a console? It's like calling the CDI a console, where it's like, you're technically right, but it's basically not a console. It's basically just it can display images and it can accept user input. That technically makes it a console, but it can't do much more than that. The low frame rate is also kind of mind-numbing. I swear some of these have a frame rate that's higher than like 20, but this one unfortunately has a frame rate that's 20. And there's not a lot I can do about that. Well, if I press 7 and 9, it, Oh, 7 and 9 are the... I see. 7 and 9 are are how to strafe. It's bound to the wrong keys. I was pressing 1 and 3 expecting it to do something, but that's just because I was pressing the wrong combination. But I love this series, even if it has been a little bit, the slightest bit mismanaged in recent years, because, you know, the last game for the last Katamari game was forever, and forever was forever ago. As much as it hurts my soul to say this, the PS3 was a long time ago, and it was kind of a... God, was it even a late PS3 game? I think it was like right in the middle of its lifespan. This is, if nothing else, this is fascinating. Now, is it fun? The jury's still out. I probably would have enjoyed screwing around with this if I had nothing else to do. If I had no other standards for, like, if I didn't have the standards that were set by, you know, having an iPhone, which is just having a computer in your pocket. It's kind of easy to forget back in the old days where there was just... The idea of having a mobile device that could actually play games or do complex things was completely unheard of. So whenever you had something like this, yes, this is a little pathetic, but considering the time period, it's really not that bad. Does that mean I can't do better? I could probably do better, but we'll have to see. Maybe at some point I will. I'll add that to my bucket list of ridiculous Isaac things to do. I still gotta finish the RPG before I do that. And the RPG is gonna take a while. This is less of Katamari and more of I am a vacuum cleaner and I'm cleaning up things. I am glad that I hope my mic is coming through alright. I've been having this obnoxious issue for the longest time of, I think I finally nailed down why my voice audio has been so messed up. It's that my voice audio has been defaulting to just ungodly high volumes. And then over the course of roughly 15 to 20 minutes of prolonged, like, mic input, it tapers my voice down to a reasonable volume. Now that's fine, but for the longest time I had no idea that that was happening. So I would just yap and yap and yap and yap, and then, you know, it ended up happening so many different times where time is up. I'm bored watching. It would happen so many different times that my audio would seem to get quieter and quieter. Ooh. Oh, I was expecting something a bit more robust. I don't know why. Please tell me Grape Star is making a star out of grapes. Yep, it's grapes. Yep, it's grapes. for the longest time, I was driving myself crazy because there's not really a good way to test audio beyond just put something out into the world and then no one watches it because the audio's bad. It's like, okay, what exactly am I supposed to do in that situation? Because everyone is always so polite when it comes to audio, but not really in a good way. People are super polite and then won't tell you what's wrong. And I'm guilty of this too, just like some of the streamers that I've watched, where they've had audio issues and I just have not... I don't really want to pipe up because I don't want to interrupt their flow, but at the same time, it's like you probably should interrupt their flow if it means that they can fix their audio and not have that happen again in the future, because otherwise it's just going to keep happening. But I feel like I'm slowly making a good space for myself. They're just like ridiculous, I don't even want to say variety content, more of like, I'm just doing whatever suits my fancy. Like, my past few uploads have been, what was it? Yumatuki, and then Mindwave. No, it was the Isaac Mod update. Then Mindwave. Then a speedrun of your Peter Shorts, and now this. Like, I have no... There's no limits on the things that I upload, as long as it's something that I want to upload. I will upload the most random junk. And I'll have a blast doing it. So honestly, I can't complain. I have to wonder if there's a way to dash. It would definitely speed up this process. This is about as boring as driving on the highway. Which, I mean, kind of fitting. Because for the longest time, I've been using the soundtrack of Katamari Forever as my road trip playlist. Which, I'm so excited to get to Katamari Forever. It's gonna be a little bit of a hike because PS3 emulation is hard. And I don't have an actual PS3, so emulation's my only option there. But I'm still super excited for it. It is... I think even after all this time, it's my favorite. It's... I mean, it's a bit of an odd game, because it's basically... Katamari Forever, what ended up happening was that Beautiful Katamari, for some reason or another, only ever released on the Xbox 360. Never released on any PlayStation consoles. Couldn't tell you why, but Katamari games have had kind of a habit of coming out in weird systems. Or in weird environments. And this is, I guess, this is adhering to that curve. But, Katamari Forever was made almost as, it seemingly was made almost as consolation. Of like, okay, sorry we couldn't give you a new Katamari game since it's only on 360, so here's what is essentially a repackaged version of Beautiful Katamari, with including some stuff from the previous Katamari games as well. It's a very odd game in that concept, but it's also just good. It ends up becoming almost like a Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix kind of deal, where it's not, technically speaking, it's not the best the series has to offer, but music's great. Everything about it is, like, at least good. I can't think of any levels that were particularly annoying that weren't also annoying in their respective games, but I mean, that was the problem. That was the main problem with it. Is there just wasn't a lot of variation from the other games, and in a world that was starting to realize that emulation was an option, and I mean, when emulation was slowly becoming more prominent, it would take a while for PS2 emulation to actually start getting off the ground. But once it did, there was less of a reason to actually play it. But it's still great. It's still excellent, excellent game. And it's funny because, like, the comparison with Megamix kind of falls apart because I still think that Fever is the better game of the two. Megamix has a great concept of just let's take all of the games and put them in one place, but it ends up being kind of sloppy, and they had to cut out some stuff because localization to the PAL version would have been a nightmare for a lot of those games. So you end up in these weird situations where it's like, okay, that's all of the games, except for this list of games that all suspiciously all of these games have vocals. Or would have otherwise been a headache to localize. So like Ratmen and Ratwomen weren't localized because of the language concern. Same was the case for Tap Troop, which Tap Troop interests me because Tap Troop was in Fever, and Fever was localized to the PAL version. So I wonder what the issue was there. I guess they just like wanted to, they already had. I imagine they had like a quota from each game that they wanted to put in, and they already put in a lot from Fever, so they dropped Tap Troop. That sucks, because Tap Troop was one of the best. Was one of the best ones from Fever, but there's always like Heaven Studio or something if you want to mess around with it. But there was Rapmen. There was also Rap School from DS, which I'm sad that one didn't make it in. There's something very therapeutic about how dull this all is. I'm just vibing. I'm enjoying myself as much as I can with this. Thinking about how to make something akin to an Isaac mod, or how like the internals of this game would work. Speaking of Isaac, it is in fact 2025 now. Which means that Mugenics, the new game by Edmund McMillan, is coming out sometime this year. Obviously I don't know when, but that has me very, very, very excited. Because that one's going to be McMillan and Florian Hemsel getting back together and doing another project as a group. And that's going to be so exciting. It was either Florian Hemsel or Tyler Glale, pardon me. I don't remember which. I haven't checked the Steam page in a while. But either way, I'm eagerly anticipating what they've come up with. I mean, Florian Himsel and Tyler Glale are also both longtime friends of Macmillan, and they both collaborated on a couple of huge projects. Not the least of which is Isaac and Meat Boy and Legend of Bumbo, all manner of other things. Please get me out of here. This Katamari is boring. This game is boring. Excuse you. I might just make that the thumbnail. The king saying this Katamari is boring. That's actually kind of perfect. It's just going to be the same level again, isn't it? But reaching a size instead of rolling up blue things. Yeah. Wasted Prince. Excuse you. You know how much lack of brain power I have to expend to play this game? I have to expend exactly 0.1 iotas of power to think about playing this game, because it requires basically no mental input. I just roll. You know how exhausting that is? Go away, dog. I'm busy. I can sort of like scoot around him and ignore his presence. Now that I think about it, this is also the second time in a row that I found a oft-forgotten Katamari game, played it, and then just been sitting there staring at a screen in pure ennui for the next 2.5 hours. Like, okay, why did I get this? Why did I play this again? But it's for archival purposes, right? Even before I got this one, I had heard stories that this one in particular is not great. But again, you chalk it up to the console, and it seems like they did well with what they had. It's just they didn't have a lot. I would kill for another song. In fact, in all honesty, I think what I'm gonna do is after this stage, I'm just gonna go into the settings, turn off the sound because there's not much sound to begin with, and I'm just gonna turn on like the Katamari Forever upload on YouTube and just roll through the soundtrack of that game because this music is driving me insane. Okay, we have cabinets now, so we can go up to that area from before. Come here. Yes! Even in a game like this is the point of pure elation as someone who likes Katamari. Just that moment of you reach that breaking point and your size just spikes up, and nothing feels better. I gotta say, the music isn't great, but I do have to shout out the fact that it's the MIDI soundtrack. MIDI is a lost art form, I feel. It's in terms of like, yeah, it's not great. Everyone who's ever made anything in MIDI knows that it's not great. But there's a certain joy to just how crusty it is. And this tree is surprisingly high quality considering what we're working with here. Okay, so before I do anything else, let me turn off the audio. Because I'm gonna lose my mind otherwise. Give me just a second and I can pull up Katamari Forever. And then we can enjoy the objectively better soundtrack. One moment. And I'll pump the audio back up a little bit. Seems a little quiet now, but it gets way louder. Oh, I skipped a cutscene. No. Oh well. Rock and Rollin' 1, Make a Star 3, Don't Touch 1, Cygnus. Let's try Rock and Rollin'. Do you ever feel that rolling the Katamari is like racing a car? No? What was the king thinking? Any ideas? No? The king has none either. Anywho, roll up the checkpoints just like at the races. What? Follow the numbers, 1, 2, then 3. We can believe in you for 5 minutes, 10 seconds. Interesting. Pray tell, where are these checkpoints? How big do I have to be to roll them up? I have so many questions. Guess we'll find out. The other benefit to listening to it like this is that this channel has intentionally turned off all ad revenue, so there's absolutely no ads on these videos. So I can just enjoy the music. And the music is peak, of course. Oh wait, that's the checkpoint. It took me a second. So it's literally just something sitting there with the number 1 on it. It's not even like a cone or something, it's just a box. Two. I adore the soundtrack to this game, because I mentioned before that I use it as road trip music. It's so good.
Mr. Sunshine なななななななな塊魂 Yeah Oh なななななななな塊魂 Yeah Oh ななななななな塊魂なななななななときめきディスティニー
Okay, I need to move fast. I think I already lose, is the thing. And I seemingly have no way to speed up. Yeah, this is bad. I guess we get to see what the judgment thing is, at least. We know that you probably know that yourself. Oh, that's literally it? Come on. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I am bored out of my skull right now. I think I'm gonna stop. Because like as much as I like the Katamari Forever music, it did not help. I'm still deeply, deeply bored. But I still think I gave enough of a showcase into this. I still think this is fascinating, even though it's not fun to play. But yeah. Hang on, let me get the music back on for the final bit. Oh god, it's so loud. But yeah, that's all I got for now. Thanks so much for watching.